Let's embrace innovative volunteerism.
Now, without much ado, I want to welcome Dr. Richard, who is the Coordinator, Africa Regional Climate Change in UNEP. Dr. you are welcome to take the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Moderator, the Director General of NEMA, sister UN agencies, all colleagues and partners present, and all protocols observed. It's a great pleasure for me to put in perspective this morning the dimension of climate change when it comes to ecosystems restoration. But I would like to start off with this African proverb which says that if you close your eyes to facts, you will learn through accidents. About 2 years ago, the global community moved by facts of the growing risk of land degradation drew the proverbial line in the sand by declaring the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration to prevent significant losses from degradation. At the core of this push was one astonishing fact, which is that the global economy is currently, as we speak today, losing between 6.3 to 10.6 trillion US dollars annually because of land degradation. And this cost is projected to reach 23 trillion by 2050. Kenya, as we speak today, loses an estimated 1.5 billion US dollars each year as a result of land degradation, which is up to 5% of the country's GDP. Climate change is further exacerbating this land degradation, as the science is already showing. For example, due to climate change, Kenya has been experiencing progressively short cycles of drought episodes, from one farming every 20 years in the 60s to almost a drought every year as we speak today. The effect of these droughts is a loss of vegetation, exposing soil to degradation and increased human pressure on remaining soils and lands. Cumulatively, Kenya loses about 2 to 2.4% of its GDP annually because of climate change effects. And drought costs the country between 2.8% of GDP each year to 8% every 5 years. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the landmark IPCC report on climate change on land underscore that coordinated actions to tackle climate change offers a way out. At the core of this coordinated approach is prioritization within legal frameworks, where Kenya has committed itself to combat both climate change and land degradation. Kenya's constitution enshrines the urgent need to combat degradation. Article 69, paragraph 1b, prioritizes the attainment and maintenance of at least 10% as part of the Supreme Law. The Vision 2030, Kenya's socio-economic development blueprint, emphasizes the need to sustainably manage environmental resources to support economic growth. Specific to climate change, Kenya is among few countries in the entire world, and more so in the African continent, with a Climate Change Act that integrates climate change into all aspects of development. Kenya has ratified the Paris Climate Change Agreement and is among only 2 countries in Africa that has been lauded for submitting stronger revised NDC targets. And in its NDCs, Kenya aims to pursue a trajectory of investments that will cut emissions by 32% in the next 9 years, relative to business as usual, and to ensure that a trajectory of low emissions is driven. But what is before us today is to answer this question: how this trajectory of investments, as captured in the NDCs of Kenya, can reverse degradation and enhance ecosystem restoration. Because we know the transitioning from provisions to operationalizations needs enablers. And I've got 4 enablers to leave you with. And the first one is prioritizing climate change actions within socio-economic space and also ensuring restorative dividends. We know from the science that in Kenya, up to 62.8% of total emissions are land-based, driven by the degradation of ecosystems. The sources of these emissions are the clearing of forested areas for agriculture and for domestic fuel. However, climate change solutions can be implemented in a way that incentivizes sustainable land management. For example, On agriculture, Kenya's post-harvest losses amount to $500 million each and every year. This means that critical ecosystem resources, such as pollinators, are lost. This then necessitates further expansion of cropland to cover for deficits, thus exacerbating degradation. However, through our work in UNEP, we have showcased that integrating accessible, affordable, clean energy solutions to power preservation can reverse losses to minimize pressure on opening up more lands while also creating income opportunities to incentivize enhanced use of such solutions. For example, simple climate action solutions of solar dryers has enabled farmers to increase shelf life of perishables, thus cutting post-harvest losses to ensure efficient utilization of the ecosystem services used to produce the food, while also increasing incomes by up to 30%. Regarding domestic energy, charcoal provides an average of over 70% of domestic energy demand in Kenya. And this demand is projected to increase. However, through UNEP's work, we're showing that leveraging waste recovery to fuel briquette solutions, which is 2 times cheaper than charcoal, is not only a sustainable alternative to charcoal to forestall degradation, but also a healthier alternative. Indoor pollution in Kenya claims almost 14,000 lives each year due to unclean cooking. Well, briquettes which do not smoke provide this added socio-economic opportunity to enhance uptake. And that takes me to the second point, which is you can only compete from a position of strength. Ecological degradation, reversing it, will need that we tap into the youth, invest in youth skills to be the drivers of all climate action as they restore ecosystems. Kenya, like the rest of the entire African continent, has a growing youthful population that needs jobs. Kenya needs to create no less than 1 million jobs each and every year. Some of these jobs can be unlocked by structurally guiding and inspiring young people to improve, refine, and adapt their skills, to ensure that their talents and their passions and their creativity towards finding purpose in their passion and turning their passion into profit in an enterprising way can be done tapping into climate action solutions with these restorative core benefits to the community. This is what we are doing with UNEP's work in a country where new knowledge and science on application of climate action solutions is used to structurally guide young people to take it up and integrate into their ongoing work. Accordingly, youth, regardless of areas and levels of training, have been guided to develop clean energy solutions and decentralize them to farmers, simple solar dryer actions, decentralizing to farmers in diverse value chains. This approach has resulted in a reduction of post-harvest losses, leading to a 100% increase in incomes. The popularity of this solution, now reaching over 2,000 farmers in just one county in about a year, is projected to grow in coverage up to 30 times in the next 1 year. Other youths have also been guided to recover agricultural waste and make fuel briquettes that smoke less, as I've indicated. And that takes me to the third point. Deliver these solutions, these climate action solutions, leveraging low-risk financial structures that are accessible to the majority in communities. While the proportion of Kenyans with formal bank accounts stands at about 34.4%, up to 83% of Kenyans have mobile money services. In addition, most of them are members of local communities, cooperatives. The combination of mobile money and communal cooperative, properly called chamas in Kenya, is creating a conducive financial ecosystems of savings and investing to assess these climate action solutions. As an example, we're seeing farmers with challenges of high post-harvest losses that deplete ecosystems coming together to cooperate around assessing these climate action solutions of simple solar dryers for value addition. Out of this value addition, they increase their disposable incomes and grow their savings in chamas. More savings means more credit worthiness that formal financial institutions can tap, develop targeted financing products to enhance reach of these climate action solutions. And the last point, policy is the biggest driver of change. But policy coherence and harmonization becomes more important. In Kenya, like the rest of Africa today, the biggest gap is not in policy provisions alone, combat degradation, but rather how to coherently implement these provisions that arise from different line ministries. And this is because these policies need to be empirically informed by what has been proven to work at the operational level, especially by the informal sector actors who constitute up to 80% of work in Kenya and offer the first jobs for youth. I work in supporting young people and operational actors to integrate climate action solutions, including waste recovery, into the ongoing work is generating data that can be taken up to inform optimal implementation of sectoral policies. In Kenya, the Climate Smart Agriculture Strategy, for example, espouses value addition, which, as we have seen, is critical to ensure efficient utilization of ecosystem services. Data and efficacy of simple climate action solutions of solar dryer provide an objective basis for the uptake as tools for implementing the Climate Smart Agriculture Policy. The Kenyan Farm Forest Policy aims to promote and maintain farm forest cover. This will benefit from data proving that fuel briquettes are not only a cheaper but healthier alternative to charcoal. Hence, eliminate dependence on charcoal that is a major driver of forest degradation. It is therefore imperative that leveraging on climate action solutions in a logical way can be the panacea in reimagining, in recreating and restoring our ecosystems as we create the needed socio-economic opportunities and jobs for our youth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Richard. Thank you for your interesting and clear opening remarks that gets us all to think deeply into this topic, even as we dive in to discuss the same. Thank you.
Headlines every in Africa. Climate change impact us in everywhere, whether it's flood or drought. Making millions helpless, my brother. This is an emergency that threatens the future, and we must address this together, Africa. Why Africa doesn't go look way from North to East Africa?